community at large. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Turn that fan off. Turn that fan back off.
Oh, yeah. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Harry's going to go turn the fan off and then we'll proceed. You're fine. No. Sense the tone. No. Thank you, Mr. Petrullo.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah. We'll make it quick. That's just right. Okay. Call the roll, please, Julie.
Mr. Ricklick?
Present.
Mrs. Schrock?
Here.
Ms. Fontana? Oh, sorry. Forgot she was not coming. Dr. Bachman?
Here.
Mr. Petrullo?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, item 2, approval of agenda. A recommendation to approve the agenda of the regular Board of Education meeting. Additions or deletions to the agenda. I need a motion to discuss this first? Yes. And then once we go in discussion, then I can make the motion?
I'll make motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Second.
You really want to,
And then I want to do it now.
you should have done at the beginning, but that's okay. Go ahead. Because
Okay.
we approved it, but we want,
That had happened in the discussion.
okay, go ahead.
Parliamentary problem, my bad. Anyway, I move to postpone item P, approve a resolution determining to submit to the electors of the school district the question of the renewal of an existing tax levy pursuant to sections of the Ohio Revised Code to a later date.
Now, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the corrections or the tabling of the item P.
Okay,
I need a second.
and I will second that. Sorry.
Any discussion?
Is there any discussion before we call the roll on that? All right, any discussion?
Ma'am.
We good? Okay. Call the roll if you're ready.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes,
Dr. Bachman?
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo?
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, item 3. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting dated May 11th, 2026, the special meeting dated May 18th, 2026, and the work session dated May 20th, 2026.
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, call the roll, please.
Dr. Bachman?
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo?
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4, recognition.
So we are going to have an official recognition later, but I did want to take a moment to recognize our boys track team who were state champions at the track meet this weekend. In addition to the team being state champions, which I believe is the first time we've had a team championship. Is that accurate?
For sure, but for the school, I think the first team state champion. Bill Morgan said this morning, 1942 boys basketball.
Since 1942. And in addition to the team being champions, for the first time ever, we had not one, but 2 individual champions in their events, Marcus Adelman in the 3200 and Wyatt London in the 1600. So it was a pretty remarkable weekend. Coach Brady is here as well tonight. We want to officially recognize and honor them at the July board meeting, but there wasn't time to get all that pulled together for tonight, so I at least wanted to mention it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very awesome. Congratulations. Very exciting. Okay, moving right along. Item 5, presentation to add a student backpacking experience in June 2027.
So I know just about everybody in the room, but in case you don't know me, I'm Don Bartholomew, the assistant principal at the high school. And I'm here with Kip Brady. So yeah, he is still, I think, living on a whirlwind the last couple of days. me. Winning a state championship for Philly. But he's here with me today to share a proposal for you all to consider, and that is a backpacking experience for MPHS students. So before I turn it over to Kim, Kim's done a lot to organize the nuts and bolts behind the presentation and what we're proposing. I do just want to say, working in public education for 13 years, I'm a firm believer. One of my core beliefs is that we are preparing students to be fully functioning citizens in our society. And beyond the test scores, I think positive experiences for students, they can learn how to be good stewards of our, our society, nature, the world around them, I think is kind of our job and what we need to be working on. So that's a little bit about what we're going to share with you tonight for your consideration. At this point here, I'll turn it over to Kip and support along the line.
Let's see if I can get this thing to work. There we go. So basic idea, like Ben said, I think that, he and I both have experience with backpacking. For me, it goes back to, I grew up doing all kinds of outdoor stuff with mainly my dad from a young age, and it was fishing and hunting to rock climbing, whitewater kayaking, and lots of different cool stuff I got to do. But and that was all really important, formative, but probably the most transformative that ever happened in my life. The most important educational experience happened when I was like 13. My dad actually sold his truck to pay for me to go to an outward bound experience. I was kind of a wayward kid at that age. And I went on this 3-week backpacking thing that was like arduous, but life-changing. And I think Ben has similar experiences where there's a whole bunch of things that apply to these, there's things you learn about simplicity and where your water comes from and things like that from backpacking that are important. But there's just a whole bunch of these things that translate into building people that are maybe better, more aware citizens. And so our idea is to create this learning experience that would foster a sense of agency within students, develop self-sufficiency, develop this feeling of connectedness with their community, with people they're working with in small teams under these, at some points, difficult situations. And then also gives them skills to go on and do that. Like, we would like students to come away from it with this newfound ability to go out and do these things, pursue these experiences on their own, and share them later. So that's kind of the big picture.
And just to jump in for a second, my motivation for helping Kip out is I'm a firm believer in a program like this, kind of how it's impacted my life. So my wife went through the Garaway schools, and they've been doing a program just like this since before she was in school. But participating in that program through Garaway local schools, that kind of created and instilled in her just a deep appreciation for the outdoors and love of nature and backpacking that then impacted me, and we've been backpacking ever since I met her. Her friends have participated in it very similarly. This created a lifelong interest in getting out in the outdoors, enjoying and taking care of the nature around them. So I can see the large and ripple effect that this can have, or a program like this can have on young people. And so that's why I'm a firm believer in at least proposing it and asking for your consideration on the topic. So.
So there's the core things that, you would learn from backpacking generally, about trip planning and leave no trace principles, which apply to, I think, a lot of life. Skills that I think are probably lost in a lot of our society these days with navigating from natural features and topographic maps and compasses and stuff like that, to looking at the landscape from a map or something and figuring out where you might find water and how to take care of yourself under difficult circumstances. So, which translate to how do you do those things in a day-to-day world too more easily. The self-confidence and self-sufficiency that come from it, I think, are essential things that are translational to other parts of life. And the development of leadership schools in this kind of expeditionary setting. There's a lot of flexible leadership
styles that people have to take on in different positions. And so, there's a lot that I think translates to that as well, as far as you talk about students, what are they going to take from this and go on and in their day-to-day finding a job and doing things like that. I mean, I think, most people these days are saying, like, what is the big thing we can teach students? The big thing is interpersonal skills. And then the broader thing beyond that is just, giving students a broader idea of what's out there, what are the ways you can live and the things that you can do. So creating options. I thought, I was thinking about this earlier, and so I decided to put just our mission statement in there that, we have the things that we want to get out of this that we see is the backpacking experience bringing to our students are the things that is our core mission. Right? It's good education, building self-sufficiency, and responsible citizenship. Right now, the plan is Great Smoky Mountains National Park for next summer. This will be our first big trip. This is the proposed route starts at the southwest corner of the park. It's about a 50-mile distance total. Maximum distance on a day. Those little green dots are mile markers. And the little black and red icons are campsites. You have to camp in designated sites. And so it's about 11 miles is the max distance between the site. Shortest distance is 7 miles on the last day. Important things that came up from like our discussions, and Ms. Seats at the middle school has also been involved, and it's also Garaway. She graduated from there as well. I know she taught them.
She did graduate.
Yeah, and so she's had like great experiences from backpacking as well. But why did I propose Great Smoky Mountain National Park? And I really think from my experiences in doing all this stuff over the years that the more of a wilderness experience that you can give that's further removed from other people and noises and stuff like that. One of the things that has impressed me about the western part of Great Smoky Mountain National Park is how little human sounds there are other than yourselves. Like I heard no air traffic the last time I was there. I heard no cars or anything. And it occurred to me that that's the first time that I've been that way. I took my brother-in-law backpack a couple years ago, and that's where we went. And I was just like, I haven't been in this kind of a situation at all for years. And I'm guessing that our students haven't been in that situation ever at this point. So it is about as wilderness as I could find in the eastern part of the U.S. And I'm familiar with the place a little bit. It is about 470 miles from New Philadelphia, so we're going to talk about transportation here in a minute. The terrain, there were questions about the terrain. It is mountainous, it is rugged. There can be 4,000 feet of elevation gain in a day. But
yet the trails are well marked.
But they are well marked, they are well developed, and there aren't any like treacherous like rock like climbing kind of situations where you would be worried about somebody having some catastrophic fall or something. Not saying bad things can't happen, but it's not a dangerous environment. Group size, the park does limit groups to about 12. So our goal for the first year for this big project or the big trip would be probably 9 students and then 3 teachers. Equipment, we're working this out as we go. But students generally, we're using a lot, like Garaway has been great about sharing information about here's what they do. Students be responsible for a lot of their personal items, clothing, hiking boots. We hope to be able to provide specialized equipment, and we're looking at grant opportunities. Ohio Environmental Education Fund is one agency that we've had a lot of luck getting support from. And so there is a window to get a proposal into them by mid-July this year, if we decide to do this. And we've got, an idea of, we'd be within that for as far as materials and stuff that then we would have to continue this project. If we can't get grant funding, I know a lot of people that do this stuff. That knows a number of people who do this stuff. Leslie does. And so we would find a way to kind of get the materials that we need to get this group. We're not talking about a huge group of students at this point to get started. Expectations of students, we used a lot of things from Garaway. I mean, obviously following all school rules, showing respect for your teammates and teachers, attending all the pre-trip meetings, participating. We'll have practice hikes as part of the build-up for this, starting in the spring, winter and spring, 2027. We'll have a mandatory overnight weekend backpacking trip. This could involve, the nice thing about this, it could involve more students that might not be comfortable going on a long backpacking trip or something, but may get a lot out of that. And it also serves as a great, shakeout trial run, like packing your pack, what do you need to have, what kind of food do you like, that kind of stuff. And then of course, the biggie is, and we've talked about cell phones, such a great one-stop tool for photographs and videos and stuff, but we came up with no cell phones for the trips, just to decrease that. The technology that permeates our society all the time, that's probably better.
We would be asking students to unplug. The adults on the trip would carry cell phones, any more Apple phones, and now Google phones have satellite capability, so even if you don't have service, you have emergency ability to contact, so adults would have those just for safety reasons, but part of the point would be to unplug.
Yeah. And Amy brought up a good thing, which about it kind of neat. It might be nice for parents to know, what are you guys doing today, or is everybody okay? And there is pretty good, having been there, cell phone reception in certain areas, especially at higher elevations. And so it probably would be possible, since the teachers, to share some photos and update in an environment like that. So it's not so remote that you're off the grid entirely. But yeah, so that's kind of our expectations for students. There's our broad timeline, planning. Start this summer with starting to look at grant funding, get everything organized and meet with students and kind of pitch the idea in the fall, and then really start preparations in the winter and spring as far as having learning experiences and getting what students want to do this and all that stuff. And then, we would have a final check-in like Garaway does to make sure that the students unpack and show, here's what I'm taking with me, so we don't have any,
No surprises.
bad behavior and such. So that's the rough timeline. Future directions, I just thought it would be important to consider these things. Possible to incorporate this as some elements of credit recovery, which is a big thing for some of our students. And I think it might be a more impactful thing than coming in and taking online classes for a couple weeks and getting credit for the course. Developing a summer course option it's possible now to even come up with a college credit option. And incorporating this into other courses that we already teach at MPHS, I think there's a lot of potential for integration. The extra dimensions, I'm kind of excited about. Ben and I have talked about this. I think one of the things that we could do better is connect with people in the community that don't have any kids in the district, but are still important stakeholders. And so I think coming up with this, and I think this opportunities for outdoor education and things could be one vehicle to do this. I think that there's potential for sharing this with the community as far as things for just people in the community that want to learn about backpacking and maybe even someday trips. There's a whole bunch of options. And then, of course, there's looking the other way, engagement between high school kids and earlier grades, which I've had a lot of great experiences with over my career, working with high school kids, with fifth graders, fourth graders, third graders, where life skills, cooking, I could do it outside using the stuff that would be, I think children would enjoy it, the high school kids would enjoy it. the final thing here is like, okay, so what do we need aside from like board approval to get going on this? And like, yeah, let's go do this. We did find like in the board policy, there's a limit to trips that total 240 miles round trip beyond state lines. But this is based on Ohio Revised or Administrative Code, which is apparently still based on an older revised code. And the newer Ohio Revised Code does state that trips can extend up to 1,000 miles beyond state lines. So we need the board to make that accommodation, because in the board policy, it still says the 240 miles round trip. And then the question would be, could we use school vans for these trips? And, what would the board be willing to support as far as transportation goes? That's what I've got. Any other things?
I really don't have a whole lot to add beyond what Kip's presented. We think it's an exciting opportunity for students. I do think that the piece that he added at the end about community engagement and just creating yet another positive interaction for our students, another thing that they'll remember about NPHS and something that's a formative experience for their lives, I think could be a really exciting opportunity. So that's why I do believe in this proposal, and we really appreciate your time and consideration for it.
Thank you so much.
Are there any questions we can answer right now?
Do you guys have?
Quick one, would this be open to any of the high school students, any of the students?
Good question. Yeah, so we had talked about that, like, do we want to do like just for a special class or something? We think would be better to have it open. And really with like, okay, what are like future directions? I think we can learn this as we go. But when I started teaching, I really wanted to get some like, I've been here 27 years, but I really wanted to get something like this going, specifically because when I started here, we had Opportunity School, which was a night school. And I really wanted to start it for those students. I think for the students who have like kind of maybe the least successful learning outcomes in high school and stuff, I think that there is a huge amount of opportunity to improve their trajectory in life from this. And so definitely don't want to narrow the window. I know that, you can only do so many people on a backpacking trip, but it is also possible if there's enough interest to do multiple trips.
And looking at the timeline, I do foresee that if we get approval, we'll start rolling on this in the fall, and we start holding our meetings, I'm sure we'll have a lot of students attend, and then once we get into what it requires, the commitments, it'll shake out. And while we can only limit it to maybe 9, 10 students tops to begin with, we would hold an application process, but it would be open to all, and it would be a fair and equitable application process.
Any other questions?
He answered
Yeah.
my question about if there's 20 kids, are you going to hold a lottery?
Yeah.
How are you going to?
Well,
We would hold an application process that would ask things about conflicts. So if they're going to be involved in sports that might become in conflict with, then they would probably, again, not get it that time around. It would then go on to favor upperclassmen since they would have limited opportunities.
Okay.
But it would really depend on interest. But we would design our application process to be as fair as possible.
And always holding the opening for, more than one, maybe there's
More trips, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
if there's like 20 kids who are really like, this is going to be valuable and they really want it, I think we would find a way to do.
Great. Good, yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
Thank you so much
Thank you all.
for coming. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
All right, moving right along. Thank you again. Okay, we do not have anybody signed up for public participation tonight, so we're going to move on to treasurer's report.
So in your folder, I have the approval of the May financial statement, the key indicator, the cash flow, the check register, and the bank reconciliation. All balances are in balance, and in June is actually our final month. So right now we're trying to get everything closed, working really hard, and then we'll be opening back up for the school year. I'm asking you to approve the quote for Flickinger Piping in the amount of $37,633 to replace the secondary chiller pumps at South Elementary. I'm asking for approval of the quote for Vincent for Checkpoint in the amount of $3867. Approve the member service agreement for Omarisa for fiscal year 27 in the amount of $100,102.90. Approve the quote for Omarisa for software in the amount of $24,947.20. Approve the agreement with Brawley for special education software in the amount of $16,700, and that is paid with federal money. That was an approved contract that was 3 years. However, the auditors had an issue with the contract, so we had the contract rewritten. I'm asking you to approve the quote from Omarisa for ETLA membership license in the amount of $1,570. We have some donations there, most notable the Band Boosters donated in-kind equipment purchased at auction for $73,572.07.
Love that.
Approve the following FMLA. And then I have a few amended appropriations. This won't be the last amended appropriations. We'll have a final for our last June meeting. And I have an amended certificate of estimated resources.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
For a second?
Second.
Questions, comments, concerns? Discussion? Mr. Phillips, that's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Say, yeah.
Yes, we attended Cadet Drum Bugle Corps as a professional marching band. Been thinking like the Cleveland Browns for the marching band. They've won a few more championships than the Browns may have.
Yeah, why?
Easy.
Why?
They unfortunately had some financial problems and from great bankruptcy, and they liquidated what they had left. And so myself and a few of the band boosters attended, including the band booster trustee. We spent approximately $4,800 to purchase the $73,000 worth of
Wow.
basically brand new equipment, which we've already put to use. Passed out 7 brand new mouthpieces to our tuba players, placing mouthpieces that are at least 15 years in age. So we're already went through everything. We're trying to find ways to store it and to get it into use to replace that equipment that is it's usage already. Super excited.
That's very exciting. That's awesome. Thank you, Band Boosters. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Call the roll.
Mr. Ricklick?
Yes.
Dr. Bachman?
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock?
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, personnel.
Personnel, we start with a list of resignations. These are all effective at the end of their school year. These individuals are moving on to other positions in other districts. Do have one classified person that we hired for the end of the school year listed there. We have a list of summer school teachers and personnel that we are hiring to work over the summer. On the next page, we have 2 rescissions that we need to make. Those were both labeled incorrectly on the last contract. So we are rescinding the action that the board took at a prior meeting, and then you will notice right below them, those amounts and years have been corrected below. Below that, we have a new elementary PE teacher, a new literacy specialist who's been working part-time in the district, and a new speech language pathologist that recommending for hire for next year. We also have 4 new classified employees that will be joining us for next year, or recommending that they will be joining us. And then some additional supplementals as listed. And on the final page, we are starting our substitute and volunteer approvals for the year. Always glad to have as many substitutes in all the various categories as we can get. So nice start to that list as well.
Great. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Any discussion? Questions? Okay, all right, call the roll.
Mr. Ricklick,
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo,
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock,
Yes.
Dr. Bachman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Committee representative reports?
The link there is for the Business Advisory Council information. They have not met since our last board meeting, but prior information is there. Facilities Committee has not met since our last
Yeah.
board meeting. So there is no report there as well, and I do not believe there are any other committee reports.
I haven't heard. You want to say anything to me? Okay.
I'm going to go on and do the Assistant Superintendent's report. Mr. Williams is in Columbus for some professional development today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, so he is not here. The only thing under his section is approving the QDA financial reports as listed in the exhibits.
Have a motion? All right, Dr. Bachman first, I'll second. Discussion? Okay, all right, call the roll, please.
Dr. Bachman,
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock,
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick,
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, moving right along. Superintendent's report.
First item is to approve the Harkidus interagency agreement and transition agreements. This is an annual thing that we approve to work with our local agencies. Item B, approve the MOU with Ohio Guidestone for their mobile response and stabilization services. And item C, approve the following athletic department fees for the 26-27 school year.
Can I get a motion? Oh, sorry.
I'll make a motion. So move.
I'll second. Discussion?
Yes, I would just like to say, under those increases in the athletic department, those are definitely necessary needs due to the increasing costs of officials and other items pertaining to the athletic program in school. So I don't think any of that is outrageous. I just want to make sure that the Golden Quaker Senior Citizens Pass, they realize that'll be a $25 fee for 5 years. It'll be a hard card that they will receive, and they can get them every 5 years rather than the 1 year, and taking up more personnel to process that every year. It's going to help alleviate that passage of the citizens having to come to get that pass. So I think that's a reasonable amount to get into every sporting event other than Dover Philly and playoff games, $5 a year. I think we can all think that that's not a outrageous amount for our senior citizens,
I agree.
which I am one of them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, are you gonna have the inaugural Golden Quaker Pass? 001, is that gonna be yours?
Thank you.
No, and I know that, Mr. Neff, Mrs. Wentworth, facilities, I know that there was a lot of work and time put into figuring this out. So I appreciate that, and I think this is a good place to start. Great. Any other comments, questions? You good? Are you okay? Okay. All right. Call the roll?
Mr. Ricklick,
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock,
Yes.
Dr. Bachman,
Yes.
Mr. Petrullo,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, I need a motion to go into an executive session to consider the employment of a public employee or official and to consider the purchase of property for public purposes. Okay. Call the roll?
Mr. Petrullo,
Yes.
Mrs. Schrock,
Yes.
Mr. Ricklick,
Yes.
Dr. Bachman,
Yes.
motion carries.